right, how's everybody doing? Hey, just want to do a real quick video just to show you how we're setting up amplifiers for people. I know it gets a little controversial at times. People asking, what kind of radio can I run with this amp, or what amp can I run with that radio, and vice versa. It does make a difference. So anyway, what we've got here is a brand new Stryker 955 and a Scorpion DX400, which is a 4-pill 2290s. Okay, so give or take about 300 watt amplifier. Okay, just want to show you real quick how we've got it set up. So just keep in mind it's really important to match up your radio and your amplifier. One way or the other, something needs to be done either to the amplifier or to the radio. In this situation, we basically turned the amplifier into a high drive amp. Okay, added a little attenuation to it so it could handle the power of the Stryker. We could have probably run it straight with the Stryker, but the problem with that is setting the radio up. So we've got the radio set at 1.5 watts. At 1.5 watts, right straight into the amplifier was pushing it about 125 watts. So what I'm getting at is you could turn the radio down to like 0.5 watt, or I think we got it down to almost like 1/4 watt, so we could get that well under 100 watt dead key. And your radios just don't run very good at those low wattages. So we like to set the radio up at about 1.5 watts, and then just add do a little work to the amplifier to make it accept that 1.5 watts, but keep the dead key at a minimum. Okay, so just want to show you real quick. The amp has 4 settings on it for power, so we'll just run through the 4 power settings real quick. I'll show you the radio first, then we'll show you the amplifier, and we'll show you what it looks like on the scope and the analyzer, and we'll show you what kind of PEP we're getting out of it at each power setting. So like I said, we're just going to start with the radio. Okay, radio's dead key in about 1.5 watts. Okay, right there, 1.5 watts. Okay, now I'm going to keep the mic gain down on the radio. We'll turn the amp on. We're going to start in low. Okay, low dead key on the amp. About a 7 watt on low. 12, 13 on medium. Okay, and we'll go to the high. Okay, about 22 on high, and then on max about 50. Okay, we're going to go back down to the low on the amplifier, and we're just going to bump this up to the 250 watt slugs. That way we don't have to keep swapping things out. So there's your low dead key. We're on low. That's going to be that 7 watt dead key. Go to PEP. Hello, breaker. Oh, I'll turn up the mic gain. Hello, audio check 1 2. Hello, audio check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Audio check. Breaker. So we're on the 250 watt scale, which is the top scale on the meter. Okay, safely to say about 150. Okay, so that's a good, definitely a good 20 to 1 ratio between your dead key and your swing. That's some pretty good audio right there. Okay, we'll go to the medium setting, which was about 12 or 13. Hello, breaker audio. Okay, already bumping the 200 mark. Okay. Now we'll go to high. Hello, breaker. Bending the 250. Okay, and that high was about 22 watts on the high. We'll go up to the 500 watt scale, which is going to be your center bar on the meter, 300 being the 30. Okay, go on high. That was a 50 watt dead key. Right there, 50 watt dead key. Hello, breaker, 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 audio. Check 1, 2. Breaker, breaker, breaker. So between 3 and 350, all right? My recommendation to the customer on this is to run it on the high position, okay? That was with just the AM button in, all right? The low position is with sideband and AM in. The medium is with just the sideband in. The high is with the AM in. And max is with all the buttons out, okay? Except for the red one, obviously you need power, okay? We'll show you what she's doing on the scope real quick in the analyzer, just so you can see that she's nice and clean, okay? We'll start off on that super low, okay? Okay, there's your low position. Medium position, your high position, okay? No flat lining, no flat topping, okay? We're not saturating those transistors. And there's your high position, okay? Nice and clean all the way through the whole power band. And like I said, we're gonna recommend running it with the AM button in. That'll keep it nice and mellow. That's the way we like to do it. Again, with just that radio setup, by itself, without doing any work to the amplifier, it would have been dead keying, up over 100 and swinging at 300. That's a 3-to-1 ratio. Absolutely no audio. That's the radios that you hear on the air that sound really muffled, like somebody's got like 5 socks over their microphone. Usually that's the problem, and that can happen with a radio too. If a radio's cranked up too much, it'll sound that way also. Matter of fact, I just got a phone call from another gentleman that I work with, and he said the gentleman just brought in a Stryker. I don't know if it was a 955 or 655. And he said, he paid $600 for the radio, and all it did was squeal, 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 squeal. Talk back on, talk back off. It doesn't matter. It squeals, and the thing was cranked. Modulation was cranked all the way up. The dead key on the high side was 30 watts. I don't even know what it was on the low side, but it was just absolutely the radio was just spanked. Okay, so this radio here, we've got it set up. It's probably around 95% modulation, just to protect the amplifier from the overshoot of the modulation circuit. Keep it from pushing it too high. So anyway, just trying to make this a quick video. It's really important to get your amplifier and your radio matched up. Depending on the amp that you've got, depending on the radio that you've got, some can be, some cannot be. Also, sometimes it's going to be the radio we have to work on. Other times it's going to be the amplifier. Okay. In this case, it was the amp. We just calmed the amp down a little bit and made it, just basically turn the amp into a high drive, so it can handle that 1.5 watts without overdriving it. Okay. Gentleman bought this amplifier somewhere on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or something. I'm just covering up the sticker of a shop that it had been in the past, okay, just to save social media drama. The gentleman did a very, very good job to what he did to it. He did a power wire upgrade, did a lot of extra grounding on the board. So if anybody, if anybody's had that work done, but excuse me, by that particular gentleman, you know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to mention it, and I'm not going to show the sticker, just to save any drama that may create. So just to avoid that. But anyway, the whole point of this video is you really need to have your radio and your amplifier matched up. You can't just say, I set your radio at 2 watts and so it can run an amplifier. That's not a fact. If I was to put 2 watts into that amplifier, that thing would be probably dead keying at 300. It would probably be maxed out right off the get-go. Okay, so there is a a process to get that correct. And I just showed you what this one's doing. Awesome, awesome radio, awesome amp. Like I said, I'm going to recommend he run it with the AM button in or lower. He can run it on high. It's not going to hurt anything. It is definitely going to run a little hotter, but it won't hurt it. It won't be like it's dead key at 150 trying to swing 300 or 350. Okay, that's when you blow things up. Okay, that high dead key. The high dead key is what creates the heat in these amplifiers. So you want to keep it as mellow as you can, especially on the dead key, and let the radio, if you got a radio, you can create a good PEP on the radio. Let the amplifier swing like that, and that's how you want to do it. Now he's also a sideband talker, so we're also going to recommend, and I know this will probably cause a little controversy in itself, we recommend running your sideband power lower than what your AM power is. Sideband creates a lot of heat, and if you're a long talker, you're gonna heat things up. And really, 90% of the time, when somebody blows up a sideband radio or an amp, it's from talking a long time on sideband. It creates a lot more heat than AM does. So the recommendation to this gentleman is going to be, we're going to go back to just the 250 watt scale on the meter. Okay. The recommendation that I'm going to make to this gentleman is in sideband mode. Okay, lower sideband. We're just going to put the variable power on the radio up to about probably 930. Hello, breaker. Okay, that's about 125 or so, right? Okay, he can bump it up to about 150. So about 930 on the variable power on the radio, and he'll be good to go. Okay, I played with this radio yesterday, and it talks skip all over the country, just like like everybody else does. Florida, Arkansas, Wyoming. On sideband yesterday afternoon, I made it out to Germany and Scotland with it. Okay, at about 125 watts on sideband. It worked excellent. I got very good reports on it. As you can see, it was very clean on the scope and the analyzer. So maybe pinched off just a little bit on the low side, but you gotta, if you want it to be good throughout the whole power band, you gotta give a little to get a little. But still, nevertheless, very, very clean and running really good. He should get a lot of life out of this setup. Okay, so that's just a quickie. That's the way we like to set them up. Okay, keep that low dead key, good swing to them. Again, sometimes you have to do a little work to the radio. Other times you have to do a little work to the amplifier, depending on what amp you've got and what radio you've got. So anyway, I hope that kind of helps with people that are trying to decide or figure out what kind of power they should be getting out of their equipment. And remember, it's not the important thing is not how many watts you're putting out of your radio, it's how many watts you're putting out of the amplifier. Okay, so you want to keep that high dead key down and let it swing. Okay, that's really the best way to set them up. I know there'll be some people that'll probably come back on me on that, but that's the way we like to do it, and we haven't had any problems with our customers blowing anything up or any other problems. So anyway, that's that. Just wanted to do a quickie on that and show you how we like to do it and how we like to see it. So anyway, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.